The Gas Passer has always been MvM's biggest problem child. It's probably sparked more player outrage than every weapon in the game combined. Now, if you've never touched the game mode before, you'd find that hard to believe. In casual, this thing's a peasant-class couch potato, the brown standard of TF2 weapon design. But they don't know what he does on his off time. The Gas Passer is at the top of MvM's food chain, and many people do not like that. You all know the story by now. Videos, vote kicks, chat wars, hate groups centered around copious amounts of food. It may have died down in recent years, but it's never really ended. And today, I figure we go in depth as to why that is. Think of this like a part 2 to my original video made a few years back. The iceberg is much deeper than it appears. The conclusion I've maintained ever since the Gas Passer came to prominence was that much of the hatred directed at the weapon was more so a product of ego than genuine gameplay implications. That Explode on Ignite enabled bad players to inflate their kill counts unjustifiably, and high tours got really salty over that fact. Now, that seems like quite the uncharitable brush to paint such a wide sector of MvM's community with. And fair enough. So how about we play devil's advocate and run through all the best arguments relating to the gameplay front. What many people claim is their actual reasoning for disliking the weapon. Well, first, I think it's worth noting that not all overpowered strategies are made equal. In fact, Man vs. Machine has a lot of broken tech. Wrangler shield blocking, medic canteen spam, buster locking for free meter charges. There are endless amounts of ways to trivialize the game. Yet for some reason, these cases receive little to no widespread condemnation. In fact, they're often endorsed by the same people who decry Explode on Ignite as MvM's death nail. That's because while these tactics are overpowered, they're the fun kind of overpowered. The kind that enhances the gameplay instead of taking away from it. This can even be applied in less blatant ways. The Beggar's Conch combo might be kinda cheap, but your whole team is getting the aggression heavy buffs just as you are. Ideally, nothing should be broken. But if anything were to fall under that umbrella, it should be strategies that amplify team synergy, not strip it away. This, in my opinion, is where the Gas Passer falls short. If you're someone whose main priority in MvM is the gameplay experience above all else, Explode on Ignite makes a strong case for being a fun inhibitor, not a fun enabler. This is especially prevalent in how it invalidates a lot of the game mode's more high-end strategies, which could be a rationale for why it's viewed more unfavorably by veterans than newcomers. A heavy playing at ball-slapping distance, tanking shitloads of damage with the hope of regenning it back via health on kill? Stolen. Hope you had a medic on your team. The demo? Trashing 100 credits on a crit sticky pile to assure the medics go down? Should've saved your money. If you think it ends there, it doesn't. Soldier banners, Heatmaker focus, crits on kill, Uber charges, Sapper AoEs, Mad Milk, even flog crits from another pyro. All interesting, impactful mechanics that get invalidated by a long-range nuke shoot. And because of how spammable the Gas Passer is, that situation pops up a lot. A lot of players like to hand-wave these points away by saying that MvM is a PvE game mode, and PvE balance doesn't matter. But let me be real, I don't think the people making that claim even agree with what they're saying. Of course PvE balance matters. Do you think that every game should have a skip to the end button? Do you think that every game should come part and parcel with invincibility cheats? Of course not. The reason why Man Up is treated so differently is because everyone wants their pull of the lever. You don't actually hate PvE balance. You just like gambling more. And by the way, I'm there too. Wanna know why I don't play community missions? Because I've been the mouse in the conditioning chamber for over 10 years, and the thought of me not getting my cheese is a debilitating prospect. I will get my 6 and 2, and no one will stop me. But the lesson to be learned there isn't that PvE balance doesn't matter, it's that you shouldn't be left within 5 meters of a casino without wearing a dog collar. However, for the people who aren't wired like that, the players who would happily run over to boot camp if Man Up got axed, I can see how rampant Gas Passer usage flies in the face of what they want out of the game mode. So is it really fair to say that the majority of player outcry against the weapon stems from ego, as I and many others have claimed for years? Yep. I still stand by it. But how? How could that be? How could the gameplay implications of the Gas Passer be so flagrantly unfun to so many people, yet you still hold the position that it isn't the primary driver behind its bad rep? Oh, look at Wheezy, bending himself into a pretzel to defend his phony conclusion. Save it. If there's anything I've learned about researching high tour circle jerks, it's that you should never underestimate how dumb they can get. And also, these guys will pay me for it. That's right, War Thunder. A comprehensive PvP vehicle shooter with all the high-tech artillery that you could ask for. They got the tanks, they got the planes, they got the ships, and they got the choppas. Over 2,500 of them, all linked to 10 major nations, with models that reference a full century's worth of history. But you're not duct taped to any of the defaults, no. You can customize all of your vehicles with whatever decorations, camouflages, or historical symbols that you like. With realistic graphics, authentic sound design, and extremely detailed vehicles, piloting these war machines is bound to keep you locked in. And the game's tip-top optimization means that even your grandma's laptop can appreciate it. That's why War Thunder holds a worldwide community of over 70 million players, and they're ready to keep pulling more. For fans of military history, this is the game for you. War Thunder's available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, all while being free to play, so you can give it a try risk-free. New and returning players who haven't played in at least 6 months will receive a massive bonus pack containing multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account status. It's a limited time offer. Here's your chance. Okay, alright, back to the issue at hand. Why do I believe that the Gas Passer's hate isn't a product of its effect on the game mode? Well, let's start with the most obvious reason. High tours have prioritized optimization over fun for who knows how long. I don't even think I need to explain this one. Almost everyone out there has an MvM campfire story where they decide to goof around as a new player, and some band of tryhards comes along and decides that playing off meta means playing off team. This was much of the reason why TacoBot became as notorious as it did, though their modern presence and general toxicity have waned significantly. But it's not incorrect to claim that many high tour Harrys believe in that double standard. Really, let's lay out what's been happening here. Anti-gassers feel entirely justified in purposefully gimping their own team's effectiveness to preserve their subjective definition of fun. But when a new player opts to gimp their own effectiveness to preserve their own definition of fun, that's suddenly grounds for a vote kick. It is textbook, rules for thee, not for me, which confirms, in my eyes at least, that there's no defining principle behind the vote kick. No appeal to prioritizing fun over efficiency or efficiency over fun. The logic behind it is, fuck you, I'm the high tour, and if you want me to carry you plebs, bend to my demands no matter how arbitrary. And speaking of arbitrary, this leads us to the shining example of high tour hypocrisy. The canary in the literal coal mine, the Idle Rock Sniper. If you've watched this channel before, you're well acquainted with this strategy by now. Teleporter on the rock, equip the Heatmaker, and carry the entire game standing in one spot while the rest of your team does nothing but give back shots to the tank. The NG will even put his dispenser in a secluded cubby just for you, forcing the rest of your team to fight for the one medium ammo pack up front. All while one player, using a broken weapon, rocking a fucking invisibility cloak, solos the entire mission. You want to talk about fun inhibiting strategies, there's no better example in the entire game. And yet, in my 160 tours of Mecha Engine, enough experience to put me in the top 300 worldwide, you want to know how many times I've seen someone get kicked or even criticized for exploiting the map? 0. Fucking 0. And by the way, that's completely fine. I'm not saying people should get kicked for using an optimal strategy, but don't give me this bullshit about how the Gas Passer is some crime against humanity when you're willing to let shit like this walk free. The question is so fucking obvious. If all you truly cared about was the output of the game, in what universe does a strategy as oppressive as this become widely accepted by the player base for years? It's in the fucking name. Idle Rock. You are literally idling. People will literally make alt accounts to sit and spawn for more Australian dice rolls while 2 players duo the mission. And you're telling me that gas users should be pelted into Gray Man's welfare net? But not this? A common defense of the idle rock sniper is that landing headshots at least requires a fair bit of skill, unlike the gas passer. Now, let's ignore for a moment that you're entirely untargetable by enemy robots, have infinite ammo, and can one-shot everything that emerges from the cave. It shouldn't matter. If all I'm concerned about is how a weapon affects the outcome of the game, the difficulty in achieving that feat should have no bearing on whether or not it's acceptable. I don't care if the ratio of Godrock snipers to Gas 8 pyros is 10 to 1, 100 to 1, or even 1,000 to 1. Fuck, that's a lot of furries. If the outcome on the match is one that facilitates boredom, there's no reason you should be giving this a free pass. This goes doubly for Scottish resistance spam on Empire, by the way. I've legitimately seen pyros get kicked on wave 1 for having the gas passer equipped, but then a high tour demo comes in to replace them, one-shots everything in the game, then leaves, and those same people don't say anything about it. So, no, I don't buy the argument that the sanctity of MvM's gameplay is really what's on trial here. These methods of carrying might be more respectable given their heightened skill floors, but both of them are more overpowered and cause more boredom than any gas passer pyro ever could. What's the justification for allowing one but not the other? Because it's difficult? Why would that matter if all you care about is your fun? I don't care if it's from a low tour shitter or a high tour hitter. I don't care if it's from a fart cloud, sticky bomb, or sniper rifle. You aren't getting the fun that you desire out of the game, and the difference in attitude between the two scenarios tells me that there's another value being appealed to here. And what is that value? Vanity. That's what I think. Heatmaker snipers and SR demos have earned the right to defund the game, where the lone gas pyro relies on a crutch and therefore does not deserve that right. The idle rock sniper robbing your kills? That's just a part of the game. The gas passer pyro robbing your kills? Rev up those F1s. This is exactly why all of the talk about Explode on Ignite being overpowered rings to me as nothing but hot air. Not because the gas isn't overpowered. It is. But most of these people don't care about oppressive strategies making the game boring. What they actually care about is whether or not the person making it boring is worthy enough to do so. I'm sure there are players out there that do apply the standard equally, that all overpowered tactics should be discouraged in the name of keeping the game mode fresh. And while I personally disagree with that viewpoint, I don't mind it. It's a completely rational end if your main goal is making the game mode fun. I'm not here to paint everyone who would rather play without the gas passer as a closeted TacoBot member, but it is my belief that the problem has been wildly misdiagnosed. If anything, I'd argue the biggest problem with the gas passer was more so the trickle-down effect of making Pyro as a class more viable and fun. It created a never-ending flood of shit-eating players throwing themselves into cock-sniffing distance for even the tiniest pixels of meter generation. Pre-Jungle Inferno, they'd probably just stick to shooting rockets from their perch like a good little low tour, or playing Pyro anyways and getting no semblance of reward out of it. That problem usually corrected itself. Actually, you know what? I think the worst part about Explode on Ignite as an upgrade has nothing to do with how broken it is. It's the very fact that Pyro now became a de facto medic killer, often the lone medic killer, yet his entire player base are somehow oblivious to that fact. Before Jungle Inferno, Pyro's role was an all-purpose damage dealer and tank buster, so he'd usually become a replacement for the team's soldier or heavy. We are not in that era anymore. If you're holding the can, the expectation is that you'll be able to deal with the medics. So now, you're also a replacement for the sniper or demo. That's right, with great power comes great responsibility. And sadly, the bootcamp player base haven't quite figured out that last part yet. Look, not liking the gas passer is completely fine. So too is believing that it's an overall detriment to the game mode. Just don't make shit up. Don't shoehorn in selective outrage to make the weapon seem worse than it is. It's kinda bullshit, it has a lot of negative externalities, and its community mission ban is probably valid. But I'll never, ever understand how such a wide selection of prominent high tours had the most ardent, scorched earth policy against it for so fucking long. A genuine concern around poor PvE balance became impossible to separate from mentally ill schizo clans that warrant collective imprisonment in a foam castle. And of all the fake problems surrounding the gas passer, that, gentlemen, is definitely a real one. See ya! Massive thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring the video. Don't forget the link in the description or pinned comment for all the free goodies via the massive bonus pack. It's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Go give it a shot now.